Boko Haram kills women and children as bomb explosions rock Gamboru, Borno State. Cross River APC crisis deepens as faction plans to disrupt local government polls. In international news, many killed in Stampede at Soleimani barrier in Tehran. And in sport, Tang Tianyu emerges winner of inaugural F1 Esports China Championship.
This is ANN News.
I am Olajumoke Olatunji. Gamborungala local government in Borno State, close to the border with Cameroon, is reeling from the deaths of many residents, mostly women and children. They were killed in an explosion which Boko Haram terrorists were suspected to have planted. Some eyewitnesses said the explosion happened during a routine security check of persons leaving the market. It was the market day there, and Nigerians who had fled to Cameroon are said to have always returned on Mondays for the market day. And maybe not as many protesters as in the Middle East, but the streets of Abuja saw some demonstrations by members of the Islamic movement in Nigeria, the Shiites, on Monday. They were showing their disapproval of the U.S. killing of Iranian military leader General Qasem Soleimani in a drone strike on Friday. The general's assassination has turned the Middle East region into a tinderbox. They burned the U.S. flag and demanded that President Muhammadu Buhari unconditionally release their leader, Sheikh Ibrahim el-Zakzaky, and his wife. Meanwhile, the Nigerian Supreme Council for Islamic Affairs has appealed to Muslim youths to exercise restraint over the death of the top Iranian military commander. The council issued a statement in Abuja on Monday advising the youths to take control of their emotions to ensure peace at all times. It said only through diplomatic dialogue can the issue between the U.S. and Iran be resolved. The All Progressives Congress in Bayelsa State is fuming over alleged refusal of Governor Seriake Dixon to completely pay the gratuities and pensions arrears to those who had retired from state service. The party also charged him with failure to pay up salary arrears and benefits of civil servants. The APC grips were contained in a statement by House of Representatives member Israel Sonigoli, who represents Braz Nembe Federal Constituency. Sonigoli characterized outgoing Governor Seriake Dixon's alleged actions as a plan to frustrate the incoming administration. He also alleged that Governor Dixon had spent his entire 8 years in office, quote, misappropriating state funds, taking different types of unnecessary loans, and at the same time polarizing Bayelsa State, end quote. A new reality is dawning on the crisis in the Cross River State All Progressives Congress. A faction is said to have plans in place to disrupt local government elections coming up in March. But another group, the State Working Committee led by Chairman Etim John, says the group is not in on the plot to disrupt the local elections. The party said in a statement it is aware that a dissident group had taken to court the Cross River State Independent Electoral Commission over the conduct of local government elections in the state. A state said its dissociation from the court matters filed in the name of the party. The scheduled March local government elections would be the first in Cross River State in 3 years. Human rights lawyer Komi Ajibola has sued President Muhammadu Buhari and the National Assembly over the $30 billion loan being sought by the government. Ajibola wants the courts to stop the National Assembly from approving the loan request, which the body had recently referred to its Committee on Local and Foreign Debt. Minister of Finance Zainab Ahmed has said the federal government cannot stop borrowing to finance projects. But many Nigerians had expressed concern at the government's current level of borrowing. They say the government's borrowing at present has already extended into the future of the nation. In his lawsuit filed in the Federal High Court in Osogbo, Barrister Ajibola claims the President, National Assembly and the Attorney General of the Federation were not acting in the interest of Nigeria. He said if this loan were procured, they would perpetually entrap Nigeria in a debt gulag. He claims the government had not established an effective, all-encompassing corruption check mechanism. The rift is deepening between Senate former President Bukola Saraki and his home state of Kwara over the demolition of his family home, popularly called Ile Arugbo, or the home of the elderly. The committee reviewing sales of state government property since 1999 is accusing the former Senate president, who is also former governor of the state, of using part of the demolished Ile Arugbo for political gatherings. Minister of State for Transport, Gbemisola Saraki, sibling of the former Senate president, has accused the state's governor, Abdurrahman Abdurrazak, of personal vendetta against her family. Chairman of the State Review Committee, Senator Makanjuola Ajadi, says there is no proof of payment or right of occupancy on the expanse of land where late Dr. Olushola Saraki built the demolished house. Coming up, African stories. Tunisia beefs up security on border with Libya. And later, international news. Many killed in Stampede at Soleimani barrier in Tehran.
You are watching ANN. Somewhere in the world, every second of the day, news is happening. And of course, Nigeria is bustling with news day and night. That is why ANN doesn't sleep. Our eyes are peeled, wide open, so no story escapes our radar. We stay abreast of world events and happenings at home. We keep you up to the minute in the world of sports. We give you information to stay on top of your investments and all the hard facts you need to navigate your day. If you miss us on air, you can keep up to date on our website and on our social media platforms, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at ANN Africa TV. We are ANN, African News Network. We do news right in a truly African spirit.
Welcome back. This is ANN News. Now to African stories. Tunisia has tightened security along its border with Libya after an attack on a military academy in Tripoli that left 30 persons dead. Tunisia sees the deteriorating security situation in Libya as a constant threat to regional stability. Adnan Chawochi reports.
President Kais Saied has visited several army bases, the National Guard headquarters and the anti-terrorism units in Tunis and in border regions south of the country.
The deployment of the army and the security forces as well as the special units aims to block the entry of armed militants or terrorists from Libya into Tunisia. It's a matter of national security. We are aware of this permanent threat.
Members of the Commission of Security and Defense as well as the Commission of the Armed Forces at Parliament have approved the security strategy of the presidency and the caretaker government.
The war in Libya threatens the security in Tunisia and the whole region. It will escalate with foreign military intervention. Then we'll not be able to manage the consequences.
Experts in Libyan affairs assert that border regions will no longer be safe if the confrontation between Libyan factions continues, only miles away from the Tunisian territory.
Tunisia's sovereignty and territorial integrity are at stake. Over the past 8 years, border regions have suffered from the Libyan crisis. The Tunisian army is ready to react to any threat, but no one can expect the repercussions of the war in the coming weeks.
Analysts maintain that Tunisia must work for a peaceful solution to the Libyan crisis, while insisting on the ceasefire to ward off any idea of foreign intervention. The confrontation between Libyan armed factions has put all Tunisian army and security units on alert. The customs services near the border crossings of Ras Jdir and Hiba are very active in this period, with the increasing flow of Libyans who are fleeing the war near Tripoli.
The world has continued to react to last week's U.S. drone attack that killed the commander of Iran's Quds Force, General Qasem Soleimani. That act by the U.S. has intensified its ever-growing tensions with Iran. Many countries in Africa are taking steps to forestall a fallout from this event. South Africa's ruling party has called the American assassination of Soleimani inhumane and foolhardy. It has called on the United Nations to take action against what it calls an act of international terrorism. Nigeria has issued a nationwide red alert over the incident. It says the move is a proactive measure to thwart troublemakers. Nigeria has a significant population of pro-Iran Muslims, the Shiites, whose members have engaged in deadly clashes with security forces over the years, demanding the release of their leader, Ibrahim el-Zakzaky, who has been in detention since 2015. Associated Press is quoting a Horn of Africa analyst, Rashid Abdi, as saying the attack on a U.S.-Kenya military base could be a signal from al-Shabaab to Iran that it is open for tactical alliances. Analysts say such a relationship could be a nightmare scenario. International Crisis Group says last week the Red Sea Strait of Bab el-Mandeb between the countries of Yemen, Djibouti and Eritrea may be a casualty in the rising tensions between the U.S. and Iran. Kenyan police say they have averted what could have resulted into a catastrophe at the British Army base in Laikipia County. Authorities say 3 men were arrested as they tried to force their way into a British Army training camp. That incident happened on the same day al-Shabaab militants attacked a military base and killed 3 U.S. military personnel in Lamu County. The Associated Press says the internal report, which it saw, showed that the 3 terrorist suspects were arrested on Sunday as they tried to enter the British Army camp. The streets of Cape Town come alive every year with colorful costumes, glitter, and spirited Gima music. But the day has a deeper meaning and significance. The parade pays homage to the day on which enslaved ancestors found freedom for themselves. Rainer De Kame reports.
It's known as Tweede Nuwe Jaar, or the Second New Year, a day or two after New Year's Day, when the slaves in Cape Town who had to serve their masters on the 1st of January, finally got a day off to celebrate the new year themselves.
This is the ultimate, this is the highlight of the year. Most of these people live in very poor conditions on the Cape Flats. They're not the type of people who can access holidays during summertime and so forth. This is absolutely massive in the lives of our people, and as you can see, people are simply enjoying themselves. This is the highlight. This is the way we usher in a new year.
Up to 100,000 people are expected to attend this festive event, with locals and tourists lining the streets of Cape Town, all keen to catch a glimpse of this colourful spectacle.
Participating in the Kaapse Klopse, or Cape Minstrels, is an age-old tradition which has been passed down from generation to generation in Cape Town's so-called coloured community.
Many years, yeah, we've been there. I think since I was born, we've been raised into this. So it's part of the culture. It's something we look forward to every year. Yeah, this is part of our culture, bringing up, enjoying it.
Since I was a young kid, the minstrels has been part of us, part of our heritage, and up till today we still do it. We still come out to support them.
The minstrels in our blood, they can't take it away. So we're born for this, of the Klopse, Kaapse Klopse.
This music is based on the types of music and the musicality of our enslaved ancestors. And when the first American minstrel troops came here between 1860 and 1890, our people saw the colorful costumes and the face painting and decided to almost copy this and fuse it with the Kumba beat as we knew it. Carnival evolves, but ultimately our souls and our hearts resonate with this drum beat of ours, as is known as the Kumba beat.
After this iconic Cape Town street parade, the more than 40 minstrel troops will spend the next few weeks strutting their stuff in a tough competition, until mid-February, when one of them will emerge as the best of the best Cape Minstrel teams of 2020.
When we return, international news. Many killed in Stampede at Soleimani barrier in Tehran. And later, sports. Tang Tianyu emerges winner of inaugural F1 esports in China.
You are watching ANN.
Welcome back. This is ANN News. Now to international stories. Puerto Rico's popular tourist rock formation has collapsed after a strong earthquake shook the island, damaging homes and causing power cuts. The stone arch Punta Ventana was destroyed on Monday by a 5.8 magnitude earthquake off the Caribbean's island's southern coast. Authorities say no tsunami alerts were issued and no casualties have been reported so far, but there were landslides, widespread power cuts and severe damage to buildings. Puerto Rico is a territory of a little more than 3 million people. It has been rattled by a series of earthquakes since last month. The U.S. Geological Survey says Monday's earthquake was the strongest yet. The island is still recovering from Hurricane Maria, a Category 5 storm that devastated parts of the Caribbean in September 2017. The hurricane is estimated to have killed just a little fewer than 3,000 persons in Puerto Rico alone. Burial procession for late Iranian leader Major General Qasem Soleimani has been postponed after as many as 40 persons died and more than 200 injured in a stampede in his hometown of Kerman. It was quite an emotional moment after hundreds of thousands of mourners turned out to honor the late leader of the al-Quds force. State media say most of the injured were elderly persons who got trapped in the huge crowds. A U.S. airstrike on Friday at Baghdad airport killed Soleimani as well as Abu Mahdi al-Muhandis, head of the Popular Mobilization Forces and Iran-backed militia in Iraq, sparking fury across the region. Iranian officials have vowed to avenge Soleimani, who was head of the Quds force, an elite youth of Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps. European powers will decide in the coming days whether to launch a dispute resolution process over Tehran's latest violations and scrapping limits on enriching uranium. This decision means Iran is taking a further step back from the 2015 agreement with 6 major powers. Its decision followed the assassination of Iranian military commander Qasem Soleimani, a move which has heightened already heated tensions between Washington and Tehran. U.S. President Donald Trump pulled out of the nuclear deal last year and imposed punishing sanctions on the Islamic Republic. French Foreign Minister Jean-Yves Le Drian, the latest decisions mean that the Iranians can now enrich uranium without any constraint, with the quantities they want, in the areas they want, and with a number of centrifuges they want. Iranian Foreign Minister Mohammad Javad Zarif has revealed the United States refused him visa to attend the United Nations Security Council meeting scheduled in New York later this week. This is as tensions escalate between the two countries after the U.S. killed Iran's most prominent military commander. Under the 1947 UN Headquarters Agreement, the U.S. is generally required to allow access to the UN for foreign diplomats. But Washington says it can deny visas for security, terrorism, and foreign policy reasons. UN spokesman Stephen Dujarric declined to comment on the apparent visa denial. Zarif was scheduled to attend a meeting of the Security Council on Thursday on the topic of upholding the UN Charter. The meeting and Zarif's travel had been planned before the escalation in tensions between Washington and Tehran. Analysts say the Security Council meeting would have given Zarif a global spotlight to publicly criticize the U.S. for killing Soleimani. Up next, sport. Tang Tianyu emerges winner of inaugural F1 esports China Championship. Please stay with us.
watching ANN.
We are on the road every day, canvassing throughout Africa for news you really need. We follow the story everywhere, from every corner of Nigeria to the wide African expanse. We bring you what's making headlines. We connect you with news you can use. ANN, African News Network, in a truly African spirit.
Welcome back. This is ANN News and Sport. Fans of competitive video gaming witnessed an exciting grand finale of the Formula One Esports Series China Championship. College student Tang Tianyu was crowned the champion over the weekend, and this is the first regional competition of the series, which attracted more than 5,000 players from across the country. Reporter Lin Nan was there.
Speed and passion were on full throttle for players and fans of e-racing in China. College student Tang Tianyu was crowned the champion of the Formula One Esports Series China Championship Grand Final held in Shanghai.
It's a massive platform offering ordinary people an opportunity to join Formula One racing. The event is officially organised by F1, the pinnacle of e-racing. Racers demonstrate skills and abilities on the stage.
The China Championship is the first regional competition of the series. It was launched in August 2019, attracting over 5,000 players across the country.
I have been watching Formula One and playing Formula One games for over 10 years. The atmosphere of the venue and the professionalism of the drivers gives me feeling of real Formula One racing. I think it's the closest moment in my life to Formula One.
Esports is big business and big bucks in China. China's esports industry is estimated to be worth more than 100 billion yuan, or about $14 billion. There's even a global push for esports to be considered an Olympic event.
We have been operating Formula One in China for many years, and our audience is getting more interested in and knowledgeable about the sport. They can become racers of professional teams through esports, and they can even join the teams in real life.
There are estimated 198 million esports fans worldwide. 75 million, or almost 40% of these fans, are in China.
For the Chinese esports industry, 2019 has been a blast. The country has witnessed multiple and significant business developments during the year.
Formula One says the China Championship was held to identify the next wave of Chinese talents and develop the passion for racing in China through esports.
In terms of bringing Formula One to a new audience within the Chinese market, and also for us to exist and have a presence in China beyond just the Grand Prix weekend. Yes, the esports property that we've expanded in this region has played a very important role as we look to reach out to a younger audience, a new audience, and engage them in a new and innovative way.
The finals national champion and runner-up will join its global championship and compete with their peers from all over the world this spring.
That is ANN News this evening. Thank you for joining us. For details on these and other breaking stories, visit our website, annafrica.news. Conversation continues on our social media platforms, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at ANN Africa TV. I am Olajumoke Olatuji. Have a pleasant evening.